Hello and welcome to the SpaceChem Tournament 2025, Round 1, OpusChem. Like Round 0, it is a collaboration between SpaceChem and a different Zectronics game, this time Opus Magnum. The puzzle is one of the classics from Opus Magnum, creating stabilized water, which is basically water with salt, sodium chlorine. But salt is a bit more complicated in Opus Magnum, in SpaceChem than in Opus Magnum. And you can't just have a simple glyph to turn water into salt. So, how can you do it in SpaceChem? Wait, before we start, just explaining the metric. The metric is the length of the wires, Waldo miles basically, which is sort of the equivalent of tracks in Opus Magnum. Plus every Waldo is like an arm from Opus Magnum, and bonders also. Each bonder is 10 gold in Opus Magnum, so here each bonder by itself is an additional 10 to the metric. Each Waldo mile is 5 to the metric, and each Waldo is 20. So, let's look at last place, 14th place, Laplace. As you can see, it has a pretty big Waldo mile count. The other solutions are getting simpler and simpler as we go up in the ranks. So, Laplace first creates chlorine by simply having the fuser below the input, straight fusing, and then bringing another oxygen from the second input. He has trash up in the first row. Each output is 38 atomic weight, which means you need 4 molecules of water, and you need to handle somehow 2 nitrogen atoms. You only need 6 outputs, so just having a trash ball somewhere in the board is simple enough. But the mass calculations are a bit more complicated, because for chlorine you need 2 oxygens and a hydrogen, while for sodium you need 3 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. But the metric means that you need to have as simple a solution as possible, repeating the same track. So, Laplace creates a chlorine, creates a waste ball in the first row, inputs straight into the sodium again. You'll see that having the fuser below the input is really convenient, because you don't need to grab the molecule and bring it to the fuser. There's an extra symbol here. Shame. Yeah, this is basically just trying to solve the level, not really optimizing it. That's also how my first solution to the level looked. Laplace builds the output molecule over the output. That way it doesn't need to bring it there. You'll see that it's not the best way to do it. 65 symbols. Symbols are tiebreak in this puzzle. In 13th place, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 IEEE. This metric is... wait. This metric is too complicated. This puzzle is too hard. My joints ache. Back in my day, IEEE is a bit rusty. But it's not that bad of a solution. IEEE very quickly creates a chlorine by going back and forth, and again a fusor right below the input. Takes the oxygen and hydrogen straight from the alpha input and trashes the hydrogen, the second hydrogen. And here it takes, okay, the extra 2 hydrogen he gets from creating the chlorine plus 1 additional oxygen from another input. You'll notice that there are 0 sinks in this solution. That's because IEEE hates sinks. You could probably save some Waldo-miles by having, instead of having the output all the way here, you could have it here and rotating here and then going back down. Something like that would have saved you a lot of Waldo-miles. But it's fine. I haven't mentioned it before, but this puzzle only has bonder with bonder pluses and bonder minuses. There are no bonders which can do both. That's because there's no such thing in Opus Magnum. But you'll see that nobody really used all the bonders. That's probably because they also had a cost. Each bonder was an additional 10 to the metric. Let's let it finish. This solution scored a metric of 385. Zig with a sad smiley face. Probably he didn't have enough time to optimize his solution, and he's sad about it. Blue is very simple, with going to the output and back. Red does all the work, and blue just using the sodium to bring it to the output. These rotates are here just for delay, I think. Yeah, just for delay. Red has a 3 counter. For the first 2 times it trashes a hydrogen and brings it to the output. Second time again, but then grabs the 2 oxygens to make the chlorine. And back to the output. And the third time, trashing. Pretty simple. Blue is only here to create sodium. Okay. This scored 320. Astronelson with Waldo kilometers, which I would have used because miles are the inferior length, the inferior, what it's called, unit, length unit. But Waldo miles is not my invention. Dariush created it for the last year's tournament. I merely recycled it with the tiny change of not making it a maximum for any Waldo, but having it the sum for all Waldos. So, Astronelson first creates a neon from the water in the beta input, brings another water molecule and fuses the neon and another water input straight into the water molecule. Trash to the left. What more can I say about this solution? Blue is fairly simple. Blue trashes the output and creates the sodium. Red creates the chlorine and brings another oxygen hydrogen pair together. Fairly simple. 11th place. This solution scored 290. In 10th place, DariusOne, the usual dance. We're starting to see a lot more compact solutions. This only uses the alpha input. Oh, that was quick, we missed it. blue Waldo creates chlorine straight into the water molecule into the hydrogen. Wait, let's do it from the start. It fuses the oxygen, takes the two hydrogens straight to the trash, and again inputs water and fuses the oxygen. You get sodium by creating lithium. It doesn't trash the hydrogens, it creates helium, which he then adds to lithium, and then you only need oxygen to create sodium. This puzzle can be a bit tricky because both helium and neon have 0 bonds. So you need to be careful not to create helium or it will disconnect this bond. And also neon when you're trying to create the sodium. Okay. Darius scored 245 metric with only 33 Waldo miles. In 9th place, Spiritual Shampoo, Glyph of Fusion. There is no Glyph of Fusion in Opus Magnum, which is why it doesn't have a cost in this puzzle. You could use as many glyphs of fusion as you want, as long as you don't want more than 2. Nobody used fission. I don't know why. I gave you fission. Wait, this is okay, Spiritual Shampoo. This is nearly a single Waldo solution, but only nearly. If it was a single Waldo solution, it would have saved 20 in the metric. Spiritual Shampoo, I'm going to call you Shampoo, if you don't mind. Spiritual Shampoo doesn't even touch the trash ball. It's automatically created by having it below the input. If you take 2 inputs from the bottom and 2 inputs from the top, no, yeah, 2 inputs from the top, 2 inputs from the bottom, so 2 hydrogens get trashed for every stabilized water molecule it creates. This is very clean. Fuse into the trash ball and then fuse into chlorine, and it only took 1 symbol to do it because he's hammering fuse. Bond another oxygen hydrogen pair and you've got stabilized water. Having only one Waldo do all the work means that he has to minder a bit, which costs him in Waldo miles. But still, 8th place. No, 9th place, sorry. With a metric score of 242. Next is rezoons, 1 to 41. I don't know what that means. Rezoons is the only person who submitted a single Waldo solution, if you don't count the fun submissions. Let's have a look. Rezoons first creates neon and then fuses it into a water molecule to create his sodium, and then turns around the molecule so that the oxygen will be over the fuser. Simple fuse into the chlorine. Using the fact that helium has 0 bonds to debond from the oxygen and taking the helium to the trash. Bonding. He has to rotate to avoid the helium and to save some Waldo miles so we could output it closer to the input. I really like how you just take the molecule and put it back in the same place, just upside down. Let's watch it run. I don't think I mentioned, but this puzzle only requires 6 outputs because Opus Magnum, every puzzle requires only 6 outputs, unlike SpaceChem. Which I think is a shame, because it really means that you don't have a chance to try and create something that runs forever. Though it's less of a problem for Opus Magnum. Still. Rezoons scored 237. Team Combustible Lemons, which is YellowBunny and bigmangohead. I think you confused Waldo miles with Waldo path. Waldo path means that if the Waldos are covering each other, it only counts 1. No, I'm just kidding. But you only used 3 bonders. No, 1 bonder. No, 4 bonders, sorry. Wait, 3 bonders. Yeah, plus, okay. This is fairly quick solution. Blink and you miss it. Also, no sinks, which is impressive for a solution where you have 0 room for more symbols. So first creating neon and then sodium, but not having it connected to the oxygen, so that instead of making the first oxygen into the chlorine, you bring the chlorine here and then fuse everything together simultaneously. Even though both red and blue go up and down several times, it's still, I think, the fastest solution. No, it's not the fastest solution so far, but it is almost. Let's watch it again a couple of times. Okay. This scored 230 in the metric, with only 32 Woldomiles. Next up is brookieoz. Now that's a few Woldomiles. That's only 29 Woldomiles, in fact. Ah, and the bonders here are checkered so that they don't count, because a plus bonder next to a minus bonder doesn't count. And only 2 bonders, which is impressive. Wait, let's watch it again from the start. Blue takes 1 water molecule away, while red creates neon. Red creates fluoride so that he could fuse it straight into the oxygen, into chlorine. Then red brings the oxygen-hydrogen pair while trashing a single hydrogen. Blue, meanwhile, never let go of the water molecule he first grabbed and brings it to the output. It's nice. Red is creating the mass necessary to fuse into the first water molecule, while blue just walks with the molecule in and out into the input zone, rotating a few times to get it to the right location. And drops. It's amazing how red could prepare all the necessary atoms in such a small Woldomile count, while blue, all it does is goes into the input and into the output zones, and it takes a lot more space. A bit counterintuitive. But, well, it seems to be working. That was brookieoz in 5th place with a metric of 225. You might have noticed that we've skipped 6th place, and that's because ToughThought has a tie with brookieoz for 5th place. Also a metric of 225. but a much lower Woldomile. brookieoz had a 33 Woldomiles, while this is only 29 Woldomiles. The difference is that ToughThought uses 4 bonders. Here, 2 here, 2 and here 2. And the solutions couldn't be more different. אני באמצע משהו, אמא, לא להפריע לי בחצי שעה הקרובה, בסדר? סליחה, אני תכף אחזיר, בסדר? Sorry about that. Okay, so ToughThought sorts of prints out the output molecule. First bringing the sodium, then bringing chlorine with hydrogen, then bringing the oxygen. All blue does is a simple 6 cycle loop. While red both handles the hydrogen trash and prints everything to the output. Next up is Sir with Speedy Compact in 4th place. This is only 3 bonders, but 31 Woldomiles. Now this is cool. This is using heavily the fact that fuses. Let's go here. The hydrogen fuses into helium and debonds from the chlorine, and then it creates lithium into sodium. When I first saw it, this part here just works so smoothly. Inputting, grabbing it and bonding simultaneously, fusing and bonding simultaneously. An extra flip-flop though. Okay, next up is largest common denominator in 3rd place. Largest common denominator is Lazy Comet and Dariush. This is almost like round 0. This is a rectangular solution. they are the only team in this case that used an entire water molecule as the trash in order to create a trash ball. And surprisingly, it doesn't take any additional Waldo miles. The way they distinguish between first creating the bringing the water to the trash and later just bringing a single atom is simply just by having red hit this sink first instead of this sink. They create chlorine first, while trashing the extra hydrogens. Bring an oxygen to bonds to the chlorine, then create sodium, bond everything simultaneously. Let's have a look again at how they bring the water to having a grab here, which is every other time doesn't trigger. No, it does trigger, but next time that it happens, there's a fuse here. First time they do it, there's no atom here, so the entire water molecules gets to be left behind. Very cool. That was 215 metric with 29 Waldo miles. Next up in second place is, wait, what was the name? Line, now with bands. Okay. Team Science with Na first V5. Team Science is Rexkix, gggol, and Britboy. As they said, they create sodium first, although you could say that the oxygen is created simultaneously, but okay. Blue with a small, very compact way to create neon. And then it waits a cycle thanks to the rotate here, and red has enough time to bring the hydrogen one cell up to create the sodium. Both delay 2 cycles and input twice using the flip-flop here. and then having the path to the output be on a single line saves some Waldo miles. The way to create the chlorine here is very nice. It's just red holding the hydrogen. No, red holding an entire water molecule, fusing once, going back, reusing the fuse here, and straight into bonding in the last time. Although I suspect the bonding... fluorine only has one maximum bond, so it couldn't bond. Fuse and bond. Very nice. Only 28 Waldo miles. And 3 bonders. And in first place, Andy. Congratulations, Andy. And holy hell, what did you do? Andy, as usual, created black magic. Red does this path twice and inputs 4 times for each path. The first time this flip-flop is off, so blue creates neon and then sodium and brings the oxygen hydrogen pair up. Second time this flip-flop was on, so it brings the water up to create a fluorine and then fuses it into chlorine, which puts the 2 hydrogens in a place where blue can pick them up and into the trash. This is brilliant, honestly. This is only 24 Waldo miles, which is a ridiculous jump from second place of 4 Waldo miles, where the only time there was this big a jump was between 11th and 12th place. This is incredible. Let's see what people say in the chat. Second place, bigmangohead. You're saying that your solution is very similar to YellowBunny's solution. and YellowBunny is no combustible. Team Combustible Lemons here. That's right, they are very similar. But Team Combustible Lemons have to bring the waste all the way down here. While Team Science has the waste simply being here. Straight into the input, straight into the waste. Okay, let's have a look at the fun solutions, which I haven't looked at yet. Brookieoz. This is sinkless, which is pretty impressive given that red has only an 8 cycle loop. But that also means that blue needs to add a few cycles here. It's nice the loop here at the start where red creates the neon and fuses it straight into the sodium. Okay, Team Combustible Lemons with single Waldo solution, as is traditional for YellowBunny. I don't think I can see how many Waldo miles a fun solution has. It would have scored 257 according to YellowBunny. Which isn't great, but still. Wait. This uses 5 inputs per output. Wait. Neon. At the start. Fluorine, hydrogen. Fluorine. And then, yeah, that's 5 inputs. בסדר אמא. And I think that's the slowest solution so far. Makes sense for a single Waldo. Another fun submission by Team Combustible Lemons, which is a cycle solution. Or at least a better cycle solution than what they submitted. Because I think it's still meant to be as slow Waldo miles as possible, but they ended up having a different design. Yeah, instead of going up and down here and left, right again, that way is a lot faster. But it is practically the same solution, just a few more Waldo miles. But it is the fastest solution we have. And 2 more bonders. Yeah, having 2 bonders here. Okay. That's it for this week's puzzle. Next week we'll see Molchem Spaceters.